John Williams, a few words to describe him. He's bright, funny, driven, dedicated, and he works well with others. However, he's the slowest eater possibly in the world. He's a procrastinator, yet he gets it done. He's just one of those guys. He's a self-proclaimed champion of Clash of Clans. But on a serious note, he's had a tremendous impact on the members of the Olivet FFA, and his tireless passion and desire to improve our chapter has done wonderful things for our FFA chapter. As a junior high FFA member, he was able to compete in the Conduct of Meetings contest, and he was a touch unsure of himself, but he quickly found his way. And as a sophomore and junior in high school, he gave a speech, and he changed it a little bit each time, but he talked about the power of FFA, and it had a huge impact on a lot of people that he gave the speech to, including our school board and our teachers and a lot of other individuals. One of the speeches that really stood home with a lot of FFA members, including myself, is when he ran for regional president. And he had the opportunity to give his speech, and he talked about infinite potential and that you just had to go out there and go after it. And there's still a lot of kids that talk about that speech, and it impacted me as well. He is an inspiration to Olivet, and I can't wait to see where life will take him. I know that he's going to be a great advocate for agriculture through all of his life. It is my honor to introduce John Williams, your 2016-2017 State Vice President, in his speech entitled, Stand Up, Stand Out.
I was told she was special. What I didn't realize was just how special she'd be in my life. God knew that I needed Claire to help me get through my first year as an ag teacher. I was her fourth ag teacher over her agri-science career, and she did an amazing job keeping the chapter moving forward and encouraging her members. Over the last year, her same drive and focus has been invested wholeheartedly into the Michigan FFA Association. This has been her goal since her very first FFA convention, and I have a feeling there are so many big opportunities out there in her future after she hangs up her jacket for the last time. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor and privilege to present to you your 2016-2017 Michigan FFA Region 3 State Vice President, Claire Laurenz.
Just like fire, burning up the way, rocking like the world up with just one day. Watch this madness, colorful charade. No one can be just like me anywhere. Just like magic, I'll be flying free. I'ma disappear when they come.
Stand up. Have you ever been pressured into doing something you didn't think was right? Do you mold yourself to fit the expectations of others just to avoid disappointing them? We all know what we want. We just need the courage to stand up for it. Stand up for what you believe in, even if it means standing alone.
Stand out. How many of us have ever missed out on something because we were afraid of what others would think? What is something you've always wanted to try, but never felt comfortable doing? Instead of asking yourself why you shouldn't do something, ask yourself, why not? We all have unique interests, aspirations, and backgrounds. Embrace those, and don't be afraid to stand out.
Don't let being self-conscious prevent you from trying something new. John and I always wanted to walk on stilts. Maybe we were afraid of falling, getting laughed at, or drawing attention to ourselves, but we decided that it was worth the risk. Sometimes standing out in a crowd isn't as bad as it sounds. Sometimes it can be kind of fun. Be confident in the decisions you make. We shouldn't miss out on opportunities just because we are afraid of what other people will think of us.
little known fact about me, I love to sing. I love singing in the car, in the house, when I'm outside walking around, when I'm working, and even when I am driving the combine. I think there's only one place that I don't sing: the shower. Weird, right? What's weirder? I've never been in choir a day in my life. My friends and family would often tell me I should think about joining. I'm still not sure if they really thought I had a good voice or if they just wanted me to shut up. But no matter how many times they would tell me that or try to convince me, I always had an excuse. No, I don't like that choir teacher. I've got too many other things going on right now. There is no way you're going to make me sing any Christmas songs. I might never know what I missed out on by not joining choir. Probably lots of new friends, fun trips, and an opportunity to do something that I love. But what I do know is that last year I made up for lost time and tried out for the talent competition here at state convention. Now, will I ever be on The Voice? Probably not. Did I remember more than half the words to the song? Absolutely not. Was it one of the most memorable and exciting moments of my life? Yes, without a doubt.
Have you ever been sitting in class with a question in your mind, and at the end of the lesson, your teacher asks, "Does anybody have any questions?" This is the golden opportunity for you to get your answer. Did you raise your hand? If you're anything like me, you probably didn't. Despite having a question in our minds, we often decide that it is just better to move on and try to figure it out later. But what leads us to this decision? While I can't speak for everyone, my reasoning for not standing up to ask that simple question is usually, well, no one else was raising their hand. I didn't want to look silly and be the only one with a question. Seems like a pretty legitimate excuse. But what if the rest of the students in the class didn't raise their hands for the same exact reason I didn't raise mine? Believe it or not, this is a very common occurrence. But why? Why do we hold ourselves back from learning just because we are afraid of what other people will think? Chances are, if you raise your hand, other students in the class are oftentimes relieved and are encouraged to ask one themselves next time. Asking a question in class can lead others to having more courage in themselves. And standing up to ask a question is oftentimes the best way to learn.
Whether it's something as simple and straightforward as making the choice to join choir or sing in the talent show, or something that requires a little more effort, it is important that we do it, no matter what others may think. I remember FFA week my sophomore year. We had to dress up in various ways to help celebrate the FFA. One day we wore blue and gold. The next day we wore official dress all day. Now, I wasn't too thrilled about that. Not only because we had to wear it all day, but because I was afraid of what others would think and say. At that point in my life, I didn't think of being an FFA as cool. I was afraid of being laughed at, made fun of, or being stereotyped as a farmer. Fast forward to today. I could not be prouder or happier to be anywhere but right here in my official dress with all of you. Obviously, between then and now, something changed. Somewhere along the line, I realized that what FFA does is far more important than fitting in. I remember talking in front of a room full of farmers 2 years ago, giving a speech that I was going to use for a contest. I didn't want to be there. And I really didn't want to give that speech in front of all of those people while they commented on my mistakes or even dozed off in the back. After I gave my speech, a man walked up to me, handed me a business card, and said he'd hire me after I got out of high school. Sometimes taking risks and putting yourself out there can lead to incredible things.
Once in a great while at my high school, all of the students would rush down to the gymnasium for an assembly. Sometimes we were headed down there for a pep rally, while other times we had a guest speaker. I can remember one guest that I was just mesmerized by. At the beginning of his performance, he was actually a mime, and it was amazing. He nailed the illusions of grabbing the rope, pretending to be in a box, and walking in place. At one point in his performance, he took a sip from a glass of water. We didn't think that this was part of the act. He had simply removed one of his gloves and poured a bottle of water into his glass. When he raised the glass to his lips, it hit his teeth, making a horrific clinking noise, and he threw his head back in pain and surprise. When he recovered, he looked at the glass in confusion. So, he tried taking a sip again. Clink and again, clink and again. What we all thought was just a routine water break was actually part of the act. There was no music, no voice, and no artificial sound effects. This man had captured our attention just by the way he moved. At the end of his performance, he picked up a microphone and asked if we had any questions. I had tons of questions. Where was he from? When did he learn to mime? Who taught him the water drinking trick? How did he do it? I was just about to raise my hand when I looked around. No one else was raising their hand. We were all just looking at each other. Awkward. Now, sure, I had a question, but I did not want to be the only one to stand up and ask. But we haven't always been like this. You see, my mother is a kindergarten teacher, and she says that her students raise their hands no matter what, even if they don't have a question. So why does a room full of 5-year-olds have more bravery than an entire high school student body? Well, it's simple. Most kindergartners are not self-conscious. They are not afraid to stand up or stand out. They don't hold themselves back, miss out on opportunities, or care what anyone else thinks of them. We should all feel comfortable in our own skin, no matter how old we are.
Stand out. Whether you want to sing in the talent show, audition for first chair in band, ask your coach to start in the next game, or wear your FFA jacket to your high school graduation, you should do it. Not everyone is going to understand what we do or why we do it. Take risks. Make mistakes. Don't be afraid of what other people say. Because oftentimes, what we gain in the end is far more valuable than fitting in ever will be.
Stand up. Raise your hand and ask that question you've been wondering about in class. Take that first step in asking that special someone on a date, no matter if they're out of your league or not. Whether it's walking on stilts for the first time or trying a new hairstyle, show others that it is okay to be outside the norm.
When we realize that what we want is more important to us than what others think, we can be confident in our decisions. Everyone is self-conscious about something.
We all have fears, and we're all afraid to try new things. And there's always going to be a critic or someone to try to judge you and bring you down.
As Dr. Seuss said, be who you are and say what you feel. Because those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. You are the only you there will ever be. So don't pass up on any opportunities that come your way. Michigan FFA, stand up and stand out.
But the world will keep on turning, turning. You gotta keep that fire burning, burning. I know you think you're in a always turning around, chasing these empty verses. Some roads have
Claire, you have brought so much charisma to this team. Thank you for always being honest with each of us and sharing your true feelings. Your love and dedication for this organization is inspiring, and you have been a huge asset to our team over this past year. Michigan FFA, our Region 3 State Vice President, Claire Laurenz.
John, you may be the slowest eater I've ever met, and I can't tell you how many times we had to rush you to get ready in the morning. But you've taught us as a team to slow down and make the most out of our year of service and each member that we've met. Thanks for being an amazing teammate and an even better friend. Michigan FFA, our State Vice President, John Williams.